Well, hello there. Welcome once more to Kwankyewaa's Kitchen. And if this is your first time stopping by, I would like to say a very warm akwaaba to you. Today I'm sharing with you yet another Fante Fante recipe, or Ntitii as we call it, and this is a very authentic one. This is Fisherman'S stew, Fante Fante Ntitii, like a typical Fante person will make it. And I really hope this recipe is useful and helpful to you. So for today's recipe, we are using no other fish than riri, that's what the typical Fante will call it, or red fish, red snapper as we call it here. I also found jumbo shrimps and some squid rings in my freezer, so I'm going to add that to it, like a real fisherman's stew. Any seafood that you can lay your hands on, just add it. I also have my onions, palm oil, ginger, garlic, and of course, to bring in some heat, Fante Fante, you need it to be hot and spicy. I have my peppers, some basil straight from my garden, some tomatoes, and that is basically all you need, of course, and a little bit of salt. And you'll be all set to make this very simple yet so delicious stew. So to start, we are going to clean our fish, which came pre-cleaned. They already removed the scales, but of course, it still has the fins. So I'm going to trim the tail and the fins, and then remove the extra scales that will be on it, and then we'll be good to go. So the fish already, this red snapper has the gills already removed, but I'm still going to remove the collar or that part of the head. So, just so it's going to be more presentable, and then I'll cut it up. So I'm doing the same for the other piece of fish, and then I'll do the cutting after that. Are they not just beautiful? That this is like really, really beautiful red snapper. Like red snapper is always beautiful, but when it's so fresh, you just want to do something amazing with it. And riri in Fante Fante is like the best Fante Fante or Ntitii you could ever make. So as soon as I got this, I was like, I have to make some Ntitii. Just look at the eyes. Everything about it is so clean and fresh. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut up my fish now. Just look at the beautiful meat. And I'm going to cut them up into 3 each. You can cut them up whichever way you want. And there we go. I forgot to cut off the mouth or the lips, so I'm going to do that after this. And there we go. So the fish won't talk back to me when I'm eating it. Just kidding. So I'm going to chop up an onion. And that I'm going to put in the Fante Fante, but I'm also going to blend the other onion. So here I have my peppers. I'm blending 2 of the peppers, the ginger and the garlic, and my fresh tomatoes. And that's the other onion right there. And the rest of the peppers will go in later. So I'm just going to blend this. And then it will go together with my fish. And this is how I prepare my Fante Fante. I always layer the bottom of my pot with some tomatoes before I set in the fish. That way the fish is not sitting directly on the bottom of the pot, and it gets a chance to cook without, falling apart. There we go, just like that. And this is how typical, authentic Fante Fante is made. Any Fante person will tell you that. We're not going to cook our sauce. We're not going to fry our tomatoes and onions before we put the fish in. Real Fante Fante is made this way, The fish cooks together with the tomatoes and all the ingredients at the same time. Nothing else. Yes. And I have put some fresh basil on it, and some salt. And that is it. And the salt is always going to be according to your taste. And the basil is going to help even bring in more flavor and aroma into your Fante Fante. Just look at that. Looks beautiful already. And now we're just going to set this on fire. And I forgot all about my onions, which would have been okay because I already blended that onion. But I want that texture the onions is going to give. So I'm going to stir one more time and stir its association. This is probably the only stirring I'm going to do whilst cooking this Fante Fante. So let me enjoy it whilst I can, because once it starts cooking, you don't want to be stirring. You want that fish to be intact when it is cooked. So it's already cooking, and it is cooking beautifully, and I'm just standing here watching all the vapor hit, the steam hit the pot, and I'm just like, and the aroma already is just so beautiful. And then look, so this is about 20 minutes into the cook time. It is cooking so beautifully. The tomatoes has released together with the fish. They've both released all their juices. So it is a little bit on the runny side right now, and that is how it's gonna be. And so I'm trying to just agitate the fish a little bit without really stirring, and then that way it's not gonna get a chance to stick on the bottom, because you don't want that. You want your fish to come out on it as a whole, beautiful, and just perfect to be served with. So at this point, we are not going to cover anymore. We'll just cook it uncovered, and this way the liquids will be able to evaporate or dry out faster, and our stew will be done. So I'm not stirring anymore. I'm just going to lift my pot just like this and twirl it just like you're seeing. And as you see, as I do that, the fish moves with the sauce. So the fish is not going to get a chance. You just don't want to break that fish. You want it to be perfect. So this is how you do it, and that is how we stir in. So Stirrers Association today, this is our new method of stirring. Just a little bit of twirling every now and then, and then you set it back, and it's gonna be perfect that way. So as you can see right here, this is about like 45 minutes into the cook time. It has really cooked down now. It's just a little bit more of liquid that I wanted to come out of. You could serve it this way, but I like mine to be a little bit on the dry, like really stewy side. So I just gave it one more twirl, and then I'm trying to clean around it, which wasn't such a good idea because I almost broke one piece of fish already because the spoon hit it, and you don't want that. So I'll say just let it be, and just keep on agitating until everything is cooked. And just look at that. So perfect. No fish broken, because we don't want that. Ntitii they say like really. And this our stew is almost cooked. It smells amazing. It tastes divine, and I really can't wait to eat my banku with it. Look, so I'm just adding my oil. This is just a quarter cup of palm oil, and that is all you need. This is more than plenty for your sauce. It's just to bring a little bit more of color. And even after I added that, I'm not going to stir. I'm still going to go ahead and twirl my pan, to make sure everything is mixed up. So here we go. And it's not so easy anymore because our stew has thickened, but we're still moving things around, and we're spreading the oil as we do that. So we're doing two things at a time. We're preventing our fish from sticking, and we're also trying to get our oil to mix in doing this. And at this point, we're done. Like really done, because my palm oil that I use, I normally don't need to fry anything in it. But if you think your palm oil is not tasty enough, I would say fry some onions in it before you put it on here, and that will be it. You pour it onto your sauce, and once it goes in, your stew is done. The oil is just for a little bit more of vibrance, and you could just have it without oil, like oilless Fante Fante, which sometimes I do, and it's just as good. So I'm just gonna go ahead and throw in some peppers just for color and a little bit extra heat if anybody wants to smash them in for some heat. And our sauce is like literally done. I'm just gonna try to bury the peppers a little bit so they get a chance to cook slightly, and that is it. My banku is already ready, and I'm about to have this. This is enjoyed. You can have it with your etil, your banku, your ampesi, anybody ampesi pa. But look, so this is all done now. I took it off the stove, and I'm just throwing some extra basil on it, just because we have basil in abundance, so it has to be used one way or the other. And if it's going to help make it beautiful, then why not? So just look at that. I changed my mind. I'll take a tail instead of a head for now. And there we go. Just look at that. It came out perfect. It is not broken anywhere. It is a whole piece of fish. And then you just can't prevent a girl from eating her fish head. I love it. I have to do it. So I still ended up taking my fish head, And there we go. This was so good. I have to tell you, it was so good. It went so well with my banku, and that was cauliflower and oatmeal banku that I had. I used Nanave's recipe. Thank you, sis. That is like leftover that was sitting in my fridge for like over a week, but it was still so good. And I really, really enjoyed my meal with it. I hope this makes you want to try. Just look at this. Ntitii, Papabi. This is correct Ntitii. Like a real fancy person will tell you that. And so I hope you try this amazing recipe and you will love it. Love it. And just look at that banku. So good. Sis, thank you so much for sharing that great recipe with me. And I hope to remake mine in another video to let you guys know. But you can go over to Nanave's channel and check out her banku. Just look at that. And this is almost 2 weeks old, but so perfect. Look at that fish. Just look at that fish. So meaty, so beautiful. Just look. And it's packed with flavor. It tasted so good. My little boy, he ate almost all the fish off my plate, I tell you. And if my child will eat, I'm happy. I just want to continue giving that to him. Ow! I really hope this makes you want to try. And until I come your way next time with something delicious, be loving, be kind, be happy.